quality of rice used for making Japanese sake varies largely depending on where it's grown, its climate and soil, as well as the skills of the growers. Needless to say, to make the highest quality sake requires rice that has the highest potential for quality. Furthermore, the highest quality sake cannot be made without sake making skills that allows one to bring out the maximum potential rice has.
このように粘りですよね。普通のようにサラサラしてません。粘質性の土壌、粘土分を含んだ土、そういうことでしょうね。
Generally speaking, we say that good quality rice for making Japanese sake is to use rice that has a large and firm core. However, what is important is not only that. Sake making is a collaboration with rice growers who have a thorough knowledge about sake making. Growers and breweries always have to be bonded with a common will to make the highest quality sake.
それは娘を嫁に出したと一緒で、嫁に出した娘はまた帰ってきたような感じで、やはり自分で作った米で作ったお酒を飲むというのは非常に意義があって楽しみで嬉しいです。
The rice is delivered to Uonuma. The rice for making the Premium Dai-Ginjo gets polished down to 35% from its original grain size.
今年の米は非常に心配されたわけですけれども、私どもに届いたこの玄米をご覧ください。本当にきちんとした形状をしております。そして、こちらの白米なんですね。心拍が必要以上に大きくなりすぎると非常に精米によって、砕けるんですね。もう砕けたお米っていうのはもう使い道がないというふうにまで言われるわけなんですよね。今年の精米は非常にきれいに、そして、均一に精米がなされております。
The process for making Heisei 21 Hakkaisan Premium Dai-Ginjo is now commencing. The first process is washing the rice for making the moto koji.
今日のこのポイントは何なんですか？
今日は
玄米のポイントは。
今日研いでみてその年のお米の感じというかをつかむことと、あと安定した浸積具合というか、安定した吸水具合出してちゃんと次の麹に渡せられるようにすることを気をつけてやってます。
緊張しますよね。どうしてもね、入るまで嫌だけど入ってしまえばもうね熱中するしかないんで、鑑評会用っていうとそれはその成績になるんですけど、うちのその若い人たちをどれだけ技術をどうねみんなが覚えるかっていう部分ですよね。だからみんな全員参加ですね。はい、5秒前、3、2、1、はい。
The process of rice washing is not only washing the rice, but also to let the rice soak adequately in a specific amount of water. This is the starting process and one of the most important stages. We need to control the water saturation within less than 1% in order to make the ideal koji for high quality sake. This control is called limited water supply. This procedure has to be accurate to the second.
2.5 切らないようにしてくれよ。麹だから室で調整ができるからさ。
はい。2.7 で一応考えてます。
1、はい。
あんまり膨らまないってだな。 割りは少ない。
はい、
割りは少ない。
The rice is steamed. Again, the water content in the steamed rice is crucial.
ポイントは一番蒸しのその部分がきちっとできれば、吸水されたものが完全にアルファ化されて、室並びに各部長に運ばれるという部分で、ここが出発点なのでここが一番大事ということになってます。
3.8。
おお、いいわ。
いいですか。
The steamed rice is immediately spread to remove the rough heat before it goes to the koji room. In the koji room, the water content in the steamed rice is adjusted on the table to the appropriate ratio before the koji fungus is sprinkled, so that the target koji for each type of sake is made, respectively.
The 水分とその温度の調整っていう部分非常に難しくて、ある程度のところまで乾いてしまうとそれ以上発酵ができないっていう部分もありますので、その辺のバランスが非常に難しいところです。で、出来上がった麹については代議になるとある程度の香り味っていう部分で、それに見合った麹を作りたいというようなことで今やっているところです。
Once the condition of the steamed rice, hard on the outside shell and soft inside, is achieved, the fungus is planted. Making the koji is the most difficult part of all sake making processes because the koji is the key element in the sake quality. Various precise processes have to be done to make the target koji, from the delivery of steamed rice to the completion of the koji making process. Approximately 24 hours after the fungus is planted, the koji is transferred to a small wooden box called koji buta for further process. This is called naka shigoto, or interim process. This round crater shape is made to keep a good balance between the moisture and the koji temperature. The koji during naka shigoto. Fungus mycelium starts to spread on the surface of each grain of rice. A few hours after the naka shigoto, tome shigoto or final process follows. In tome shigoto, further water content adjustment is done while observing the growth of the koji fungus to promote the accumulation of the enzyme. These processes are accurately controlled in each stage of the koji fungus growth. The koji during the tome shigoto. The growth of the koji fungus is clearly visible.
この温度管理ですね、温度と湿度の管理、水分の管理っていう部分で、ある程度の温度のところまで来なければ仕事をしちゃいけないっていう部分の管理を覚えておくことですね。中途半端なところで時間がないからじゃあ今やってしまうということをすると、その後が非常に時間がかかってしまって、で時間がかかるということは乾いてしまって自分たちの思う麹ができないと。
どんな味がするものなんですか、今食べてみて。
いやいや、まだまだ甘みは出てこない。
甘みが出るものなんですか。
いや、最後はやっぱり栗かっていうか、ほのかに甘いで麹の時はね。
Now, the koji is made. The best koji we aim for is haifa, which grows toward the center of the rice grain, while an island-shaped mycelioid covers the surface of the rice.
そうだね、蒸し米が非常にやっぱりよく出来上がったというか、いわゆる割れが少ないというお話を知ったじゃないですか。だから今まであまり体験したことのないようないい素晴らしい蒸し米であったんで、まあ、これから酒母に使っていっても期待ができるんじゃないかなと。
This is moto mash making. Moto is also called the mother of sake. Moto is the fundamental essence of making sake. This process is for making strong, suitable yeast for the next stage, the main malt preparation. Steamed rice put into a mixture of water and the koji soak in a fluid as it hardens after a few hours. Poking this hard malt is called mototsuki, or moto poking. This process is also called fight or tackle. In Hakkaisan Brewert, a team of 3 workers continuously poke for 30 minutes.
通常はこの作業は、一般的な作りだと、この蒸し米を潰さないように柔らかくしていくんですけど、我が八海醸造のこの洗い元付きと呼んでるんですけども、作りに関しましてはもうあえてこのふ菓子を潰すようについていくと、それで元付きと呼んでるんですけども、そうすることによってあえて酵母に厳しい環境を与えることで、力強い酵母を育てていくという方針で、この後また夜2番街3番街とあるんですけども、そこでも元付きといってつく作業を続けて10日を進めています。
It takes 2 weeks to complete the moto process. The temperature is strictly controlled throughout this stage. Generally, sake making takes 3 steps of shikomi preparation. The first step is called soe shikomi. The main purpose of this stage is to promote the growth of pure yeast, and for this reason, the steamed rice is relatively soft and relatively soluble. The tank used for soy shikomi of Premium Dai-Ginjo is small, with a capacity of 650 liters. The moromi malt in this stage does not have much yeast, and the most delicate attention in sanitation is required to prevent any bacteria contamination during the fermentation. Small tanks are used to allow a smoother process. This tank is called eda oke. This is the Kura factory exclusively designated for Dai-Ginjo brewing. Each tank is used 3 times for a total of 700 kilograms of steamed rice for the shikomi preparation. Naka shikomi and tome shikomi are also done here. Koji for tome shikomi is now made.
俺が見ても分からんとは言いながら
種の種類も違うんです。元とかそれとかね、中と留めは同じ。ただそういうふうに決まってるっていうんじゃなくて、それは杜氏さんが決める、まあ作り手が決める、どの種が俺の自分の作りに合ってるとか、麹に合ってるというよりももろみとか、そういった後半の部分だよね。
There are 3 steps of shikomi: soe, naka, and tome. The rice is steamed at the same time, but they are used at different times for different stages of shikomi preparation, respectively.
蒸し米のさらしの具合を加減しているんですね。さらしっていうのは仕込んでからの消化性の微調整というか、それを行っているわけなんですよ。ですのでそういうの場合は同化をしやすいような状態で、時間もゆっくり短く、そして蒸し米の吸水具合も当然柔らかくしているわけなんですよね。中留めっていうあたりはきちんとからしを取って、 そしてその消化時計を調整することによってそのきれいな酒にも希望という、これは新潟のその吟醸作り、特に大吟醸作りの欠かせない工程の一つですよね。
Tome shikomi is the final step of shikomi. From this time, the moromi malt takes about 40 days to complete its parallel fermentation. What's most important in moromi process is controlling the temperature of moromi. The moromi formation changes are monitored at all times on a daily basis, since the most adequate temperature control is required. A slight change in the temperature is largely reflected in the quality analysis. Various data on sake composition are collected daily, and sensitive changes of moromi are logged. This is a datasheet of Premium Dai-Ginjo tank number 1. The highest temperature of the moromi is 10.5 degrees Celsius. Data of moromi over 42 days are recorded. This is a datasheet of Hakkaisan's average production flow. The highest temperature is 12.5 degrees Celsius. 28 days of moromi recorded are logged.
ここには普通酒と本醸造のデータも毎日来ます。それらとこのお酒を比べると品温の多少の高低差はありますが、グラフの形は非常によく似ております。というのも普通酒や本醸造というのはこのお酒を基本として管理されているからだと思います。あえて言えばこのお酒は香りの高さも重要になってきますので、普通酒や本醸造とは少し違う酵母を使用しております。ですのでそういったことから、発酵をやや低温で進めているということも挙げられます。
最高の酒造りの技術を駆使して作るとでそれが、従業員が全員参加でそういう最高の酒を作る技術の作り方にタッチすることで、その蔵人の全員がそういう酒の作り方の神髄っていうか技術っていうかね、それを覚えることができるわけですよ。でうちの場合はそういう大吟醸という酒を作る時だけにこれを応用させるということではなくて、例えばこの一番馴染みが深くてこの大量に消費されている一番必要とされているのがやっぱ普通酒なんですよね。普通酒本醸造の製法の中にもその最高の酒を作るという技術、これを応用した作りをやってますね。
In winter, Uonoma Valley is covered in heavy snow that can reach several meters high. In 1922, in Nagamori, Muikamachi, Niigata Prefecture, the Hakkaisan Brewery Company was founded in this heavily snowed area. Since its foundation, Hakkaisan Brewery has always sought for the highest quality sake and to deliver the greatest quality sake to its many customers. This is the company's mission, and for this, the company has established a new production working environment. This is the number 2 Kawagura, Hakkaisan's newest sake factory facilitated to produce the highest quality sake the company aims to achieve. The number 2 Kawagura was built in 2004, having 5,235 square meters and 66 3-ton tanks for sake preparation. This factory is built for regular shu and honjozo sake. It's a state-of-the-art facility which allows for the production of the highest quality sake to meet the market's demands. However, this facility is not simply aiming for efficiency. How could it be efficient but yet have a suitable environment to improve the morale of its workers to concentrate on sake making? It is designed to provide the best environment for its workers so that they can perform to the best of their ability to produce the highest quality sake. One of the major characteristics of the number 2 Kawagura is the building structure itself. The factory has 3 floors. The top floor processes the raw rice material. It performs washing, soaking, and steaming, as well as rooms for shubo and koji making. The second floor has tanks that are used for the preparation of moromi mash, and the tanks sit on the first floor. Adjacent to the tanks are the press room and the filtration area. In other words, each process flows from the top floor to the lower floor. This allows for a smoother workflow and increases efficiency. Polished rice, which is milled by themselves, is delivered to the factory. This is the start of the sake making process in the number 2 Kawagura. Hakkaisan uses only highly polished rice for sake making. It is polished down to 60% for regular and 55% for honjozo. The standard polishing rate in Hakkaisan is as high as the Ginjo shu in many other breweries. The rice right after it is polished is extremely dry. It cracks and lowers its quality if the rice is soaked immediately after it's polished. To avoid this, it is necessary to have rice slowly absorb the moisture in the air. This process is called karashi, or curing. The wooden rice storage tank. This is designed to allow breathing. The rice is stored in respect to the different uses, and depending on what the rice is for, they are stored in 40 different storage tanks. They are designed to meet the most suitable karashi, or curing to settle. After the polished rice is settled in the karashi stage, it is sent up to the 3rd floor through an automated device and a dispensing machine which can measure a minimum of 500 grams in its weight. The weight of the rice has to be strictly measured since it's an essential element for starting the sake making process. Washing machines and soaking machines installed on the 3rd floor are originally designed. These are designed to reflect and imitate the motions of the human hand. Small-sized washing machines are lined in 3 stages, and they can do the job quickly and efficiently. The auto soaking machines are smaller than conventional types. The machine has a special design inside that has what's called board to improve the water drainage. The reason for making the soaking tank small is to manage the time for filling and draining the water in the tank as quickly as possible. This is developed with the concept of limited soaking. Also, small-sized tanks allow a smaller volume of rice, which enables an even penetration of the water into the rice. Hakkaisan manages the water content in the rice by measuring the time to the second to get the ideal performance in the soaking process. Each grain of rice should have an adequate water content after soaking. For this, the rice is placed in the tanks overnight. Over the night, the rice that has completed the limited time soaking is then sent to the steaming process. The volume of the rice grain in the steaming machine is controlled to 24 centimeters thickness. This is very thin, and the reason for having this thin layer is, again, to distribute the steam evenly to the rice in the steaming process. This steaming machine is capable of controlling the steam temperature much better than conventional Japanese steam cookers. Furthermore, it can spray dry steam. The rice steamed in this machine can produce an ideal condition for the rice for sake making: hard outside shell and soft inner core. Making koji is a very important process in sake making. Hakkaisan has 3 koji making rooms. Each is made to produce the most suitable koji used in different stages for the sake making process. The first and second koji room have thermostats that easily control the room's temperature between 30 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius without any risk of fire or smell, and also regulates the humidity. The koji table has a scale to weigh the water content in the rice. The required moisture in the rice is measured in real time. State-of-the-art machines are installed here because this is such an important process. Hakkaisan applies the same method of making koji for regular to ginjo classes. From sprinkling the seed fungal, most of the work in koji making is done by hand. The ideal koji is made by experienced kurabito workers by hand. Kurabito workers perform their abilities in the most suitable facility and environment to make the ideal koji. Shubo or seed sake is literally the mother of sake. The shubo room has the same number of tanks as the moromi preparation tanks because Hakkaisan keeps a 1-to-1 ratio for shubo tanks to moromi preparation tanks. 4 kurabito workers stir the moromi mash for 30 minutes. It is the same procedure used when making regular sake. It takes 2 weeks to make shubo. The shubo tanks during this period are carefully managed and controlled to keep the most suitable temperature to make healthy and strong yeast that survive through Hakkaisan's low-temperature fermentation method. In the freezing winter, they are sometimes put into heated barrels or covered with heated mats. After the shubo making process is completed, the next process is the moromi mash preparation. The mouths of the tanks placed on the first floor are located on the second floor. This structural design allows an easier and smoother workflow for moromi preparation process after the steamed rice, koji, and shubo are made on the third floor. Sandan shikomi, or preparation in 3 steps, is commonly practiced in sake making. The 3 steps are soe shikomi, nakashikomi, and tomeshikomi. Preparation in 3 stages avoids the growth of undesirable bacteria and allows for a smoother fermentation. This is one of Japanese traditional methods of sake preparation. The 66 tanks are water cooling jacket tanks. In these tanks, haifa and fermentation can be well managed. This unique process in sake making is called parallel multi-fermentation, which the Japanese are proud of. Stirring the mash by rods controls the speed of the fermentation. Hakkaisan takes its original style by stirring every morning and every evening. It is an essential work that is not to be missed during the long and low temperature fermentation period. This graph shows the temperature change of Modori mash. The mean temperature is 10 degrees Celsius and does not exceed 13.5 degrees Celsius. Because the temperature is kept low, it requires a longer time, but it assures stable yeast activity. The Moromi temperature is always monitored by an autothermal sensor, but Hakkaisan does not fully rely on machines alone. Workers always check the temperature visually, making sure that the temperature is strictly controlled. This is also representing Hakkaisan's thorough posture for making high-quality sake. The reason why Hakkaisan limits only 3 tons of rice per preparation tank is because Hakkaisan believes that proper stirring by humans is limited to a maximum of 3 tons. Furthermore, because the koji is made manually, a large volume for a larger tank does not guarantee the quality Hakkaisan aims to achieve. The new fundamental principles of sake making cannot be compromised regardless of the use of modern machinery. The Moromi after 28 days of fermentation is then transferred to the press room for filtration, where the malt is separated into pure sake and sake deposit. 2 press machines are used for a load of Moromi from 1 tank. Each press machine slowly presses for 24 hours. Hakkaisan sake making produces a large volume of sake deposit. This means Hakkaisan sake is clear and rich. Fresh Hakkaisan sake is now brewed. The new brewed untreated sake is then moved to an adjacent filtration area and to be pasteurized, and then it is stored for maturing until it is bottled. Hakkaisan sake does not need to settle for sedimentation removal. It is because the raw rice is finely polished, carefully steamed for good quality koji making, long-term low-temperature fermentation, and light pressing, leaving a large volume of deposit. These fundamental brewing processes Hakkaisan takes produces the finest and clearest quality sake and does not produce sedimentation. The number 2 Kowagura is built to realize this fundamental and essential posture of Hakkaisan. 3 tons of Moromi in a tank isn't much for a facility this large, but here again, Hakkaisan's policy for making sake is faithfully kept. Gifted spring water from the god Daiden is used for Hakkaisan sake.
酒造りっていうのはやはり基本的に生き物なんですよね、お酒っていうのは。だから自分たちが各工程においての品物にどれだけ距離を縮めて、その品物の声を聞き、また顔を見、そして思いを感じる、 ことがどれだけできるかっていうことが一番大事なんだなと。そうすることによって蔵が生きてくるんですよ。そうなんです。いい酒を作ってくれという蔵の声が聞こえてくる。そんな風に蔵人が結集できたらこれは最高だと思いますよ。この蔵で一番大切なことは、ありがたく感謝していることは、私たちの酒造りに対する情熱であるとか技術を確実にきちんと捉えて支えてくれているというふうに思っております。ですので私たちはこの蔵から日本一の高品質な酒造りを目指し、現在歩み始めているところであります。
It is a joint mission of Kurabito workers and the company management to enhance the performance in producing high-quality sake and to continue to deliver the highest quality sake to all the sake lovers around the world.